I think when the Niners play the football team in 5 weeks, whatever it is, Washington will probably be a 500 team. Their next 4 games are Houston, Atlanta. They play the Giants. Then they have a bye and play the Giants again. So that's who Washington plays the next 4 games in the next 5 weeks. So I think you can reasonably say they'll win 2 of those and lose 2 of those. Hell, maybe they win 3 of them. But I think it's reasonable to expect that if the Niners are hovering around 500 when they get to the football team on the day before Christmas, that's going to be a dangerous game for them. And at this point, they're 5-4. So I can't assume that they're going to be suddenly 3 or 4 games over 500 when we get to that game. Maybe they will. Well, they need to stay ahead of Washington at this rate because I think Washington's going to be around 500 when they play them.
Well, Tampa's – I read some of Bruce Arians' quotes. He's like, I saw Tom smile for the first time last week. I mean, they've won a couple games, like you said, since he got a divorce. So, and the difference, I would say, the Tampa game and the Washington game, because they're all similar records, right? Tampa's 5-5 as well.
Tampa's 5-5, yeah.
Is Tampa's going to win the division, right? So it feels like, are headed toward the 4 seed or potentially the 3 seed, depending on what happens with the Niners in Seattle. But like that's not a wild card swing. Where it does feel like either Washington or New York, pretty clear one of the two is probably going to be a wild card team, right? Unless Green Bay, who in a weird way could win 2 games in 4 days, kind of just gets right back into it. And they do have Aaron Rodgers, and you would say at 5-6, you wouldn't completely count them out, right? If they go back-to-back wins against the Cowboys and the Titans, wouldn't that be I'm just saying from the wild card standpoint of that 7 seed kind of fringe. I do think, though, when you look at teams at 5-5, if you could get to 10 wins, you feel pretty good. Now, when you look at Seattle, to me, the wild card, like New York, the Giants fucking play the Lions this week, even though the Lions are playing a lot better, but like the Giants could easily win that game. Then all of a sudden, I mean, you get to 8-2, like how do you not get to 10 wins? You're basically there. You go 2-6 the rest of the year. You got 8-2. Actually, there's 7 games left. So you go 2-5. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Now, one thing we learned today, at least the 49ers swept these guys. Cooper Kupp, who knows how long he's out, right? It's not just a high ankle sprain. He's getting that surgery. The thing, remember, wasn't that the thing that
at least 4 weeks?
Wasn't that the thing that Mac and Bill, the rumors were they were arguing over? You can get that surgery that takes a little tension off the high ankle sprain. Regardless, like you said, he's on IR. They're fucked. I mean, they are fucked. Seattle hasn't.
Stafford's not cleared concussion protocol as we record this on.
And he was already banged up before. Like I would say, if they had their pick, if you told me they just put Matt Stafford on ice the rest of the year, or he got surgery on the elbow or something, would be pretty believable. But like, it doesn't really behoove them to lose.
But they don't have their pick, John.
No, they don't. But the Rams have not played Seattle yet. So is it reasonable to think that a Wofford and Cooper Kupp-less team is going to beat Seattle? Rams, I watched a lot of the Rams, Arizona. The Rams are terrible. So my point is, like, Seattle is actually in pretty good shape to just rattle off a couple victories here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're hard. They still play the Raiders. They do play the Chiefs and the Niners and the Jets. But, like, what would you put your money on wins the division? Because I don't think we're going to Arizona.
Repeat what you just said.
You got me again?
You asked what I think wins the division.
Yeah, what number?
And then make the case you just made.
Well, last year when they didn't win the division, they got a wild card of 10 wins. The Rams had just made this crazy trade, and they ultimately went on to win the Super Bowl. And the Cardinals, like, when fully healthy and with Hopkins, like, they do have from Budda Baker to Isaiah Simmons to obviously Kyler, Hopkins. They traded for Ertz. Like, they do have a lot of talent. To lose to Seattle, lose out on the division to a team, what Geno's doing, tip my cap, but Geno Smith, rookie tackles, a rookie running back, rookies all over they cut Bobby Wagner, their best player on defense, potentially a rookie corner. I mean, you're dealing with what did Christian McCaffrey say? I looked around, I thought, am I in fucking Hawaii at the Pro Bowl? Like, I don't think you can lose to them without kind of getting some legit criticism. Be one thing like last year was, understandable and you ultimately made up for it. Seattle, the rosters, come on.
Are you asking me what guarantees you win the division? I would say 11 guarantees you the division. Does 10 get it to you? With tiebreakers, yeah. If you sweep Seattle, if you beat Seattle, then I think 10 again. Then I think 10 wins the division. If you beat Seattle in the next meeting and win 10 games, to me, that wins you the division because you'd have the tiebreaker, and I don't think Seattle wins 11 games. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
So, you know, I know a lot of people are. I mean, Geno, what's Geno? 17 touchdowns, 4 picks. I think that's his 17 touchdowns, 4 picks, 73%. Awesome story. I'm glad he didn't write back the people that wrote him off. I am betting against that being his 17 game ratio. I'm just betting against it. It's not the way this sport works 99 times out of 100, where in somebody's 9th or 10th year, they suddenly become.
Was he more likely to be Rich Gannon or have like a 6-week Teddy Bridgewater run?
Yeah, I think
he when you watch him play though, he does have physical talent.
He is not some schmo. I'm not saying that.
But I'd even say like when you watch Teddy's a good example because he had that little run for Drew Brees. That's his own. Like Geno does throw he's got a strong arm and they do got some weapons on the one thing he does have. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and a star rookie running back. Like they do got some firepower for him, right? Yeah. He's not just doing this with Haberman, Middlekoff, and fucking some random tight end.
No, with a stable franchise that knows how to win,
and just rookies that are clearly, kicking ass. That's another thing. Does John rookie just have a 17-game season with no hiccups?
If I told you the 49ers quarterback was 73%, 17 touchdowns, 4 picks, I mean, like that's incredible. That is most quarterbacks with those numbers are MVP level players, and they're 6-4, which is good.
Yeah, well, but that's my argument. No one's acting like he's not playing with a Niners roster. Like their rosters with a lot of 22-year-olds, a lot of moving parts, a lot of newer guys, right? He does not have, beside DK and Lockett, they're depending on a lot of young players.
They should not win this division. Is that
fuck no?
I'm saying to be that good, to play your best and be 6-4, to me is not good. Like they would really, to me, they need to be like 7-3 right now to feel great. What they are doing is really impressive. But for me to really buy in, I'm not totally bought in. I'm just not. And I think betting against Pete Carroll is a losing bet.
But I will say their next 3 games before the Niner game at Levi's.
Yeah. Raiders, Rams, Panthers.
When's 12:15? Is that a Thursday night? Yeah, they play Seattle on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Raiders, Rams, Panthers.
In Seattle.
So Raiders, I mean, it's not inconceivable they go 2-1 in that stretch, right?
No.
And then all of a sudden you're 8-3, and then they'd be 8-5.
8-5. 8-5 with Niners, Chiefs, Jets, and Rams still to play. Week 18, Rams will probably pack it in, right?
I mean, but they don't pack it in for what?
Well, I just mean I just mean their players are not going to approach that game. Their players will approach that game like 1-2-3 Cancun.
You would think, but like last year's a good example of Seattle had nothing to play for, and they played Arizona the last week of the season just with some pride, and they kicked the shit out of them.
That's what Pete Carroll teams do, baby.
But you think maybe Sean McVay's already at Amazon?
I just don't know. Like the Rams right now just look.
They've never been in that position.
They're the defending champs, and sometimes defending champs look like this.